the next series of the day, aka the last series. Thank you, Chad, for stopping by. But now I got Magical and Cubby back on the desk with me. Guys, we got one more best of 2 for all of Academy spring season.
Hold on.
Yes?
Hold on. Tiebreakers are on the table.
True. There is a potential. We actually have ransom numbers here. I believe we have confirmation from Kelsey and Whoopley here. They're actually talking about it in chat right now. No tiebreakers. Okay.
Wait a minute.
For Golden Guardians. Hold on. That's for Golden Guardians.
For Golden
You have
Guardians.
to keep in mind Team Liquid versus Cloud9 could possibly be one. When we look at the standings,
Oh, I love getting live
If it's a
updates.
2-0 for TL.
I love getting live
Exactly.
updates.
they are 1 game behind. That means there is a 3-way tie for second. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think that it will result in a tiebreaker because then we have to look at the first. I think it's the head-to-head. No, not head-to-head. It's the number of wins you have in those best of 2. So if you have 7 best of 2 wins where you go 2-0, then you're automatically going to be there. Then it goes head-to-head. Then after that, if they're still tied, it goes into tiebreakers. So that's why we have to kind of contemplate this and make sure we got everything right.
Yeah, head-to-head's just the side selection for the eventual tiebreakers. We'll wait for final confirmation from Kelsey and Whoopley before we make any definitive statements on
Right,
podcast.
that's what I was saying. We have to calculate we got to run the numbers.
Run the numbers.
Hang on, this is being handled by top men.
Absolutely. The ones that are the big brains of the broadcast. We're just the pretty faces and the voices that bring you all the action. But regardless, we're still going to talk forward about this next match, which has seeding implication 100%. 100 Thieves Academy versus Dignitas Academy. And I'm just going to say, this one, 100 Thieves, they are behind, but their destiny is in their hands. It's very rare that we can actually say that at the end of a split, but since this is the last best of 2, Cubby, I mean, if they 2-0 this, they do take that 6th seed.
And I think for 100 Thieves, yes, their destiny is in their own hands. Yes, a 2-0 is needed, but this is something where I think given the current form of 100 Thieves, this is a tough task. This is a team where in the second round robin, in the last couple weeks, it feels like they aren't quite as strong as they even were at the start of the split. And I think going into Dignitas, this is a team where I always say the thing that Dignitas does well, win or lose, they play together. They are always making plays as 5 on the same page. And 100 Thieves, they've looked like a team that isn't quite on the same page. So I want to see if they can patch that up going into today, maybe with the higher stakes. That is the pressure they need to come together.
We'll break down the matchup between 100 Thieves and Dignitas Academy once we're ready to get into that one and the players are ready to get into the games. But before that, we want to do our weekly Samsung SSD Fast 5, where we catch everybody up on the stats that we've seen play out throughout all of the split. Now, this is the last week, so this is the last Samsung SSD Fast 5 for the regular season. These stats will be kind of the bow on a lot of these players. Maybe they'll throw them on their resumes, right? I'm looking at some of these. Nobody broke 6 minutes for jungle clear, or rather fastest level 6. That is crazy to me.
Boo. Now, I don't think anyone can break Triple's record either. I believe that was, I don't even think that was a Moonstone game mid.
It wasn't, no. I'm pretty sure it was an Ari game.
I think it was an Ari game too, yeah.
Yeah, Everfrost is pretty cheap though, so and he was popping off in that one. I'm also looking at Stixay. Full like 2 minutes ahead.
That was, I believe that was
yes, when you get a quadra kill at level 1, you're gonna be ahead.
4 kills.
Was it that or was it the C9 debut roster? Because he also had
no, it was the quadra kill one.
10.
I specifically remember having to do this segment after that because of course, that will inflate your gold lead just slightly.
Just a little.
It was akin to last summer. Cubby, you probably remember this Team Luke when he had a quadra kill on Tristana early on. He also held a very high spot for quite a while in that split.
In his debut game.
Debut game. That was insane. But this year, of course, this split, those are the players that have been popping off in the stats department, at least in those categories. But now we can bring our attention into this next matchup. We already started talking about 100 Thieves, so let's properly introduce them lane by lane, or at least get them all on screen. While, again, Cubby already gave your thoughts. Magical, I want to hear yours. 100 Thieves, we know that this is a team that had high expectations and hasn't necessarily been living up to all of them.
Well, we talked before about the CLG slump. 100 Thieves definitely find themselves in a very similar boat.
Yeah.
They haven't looked nearly as strong as they had in earlier season, like the earlier season parts of this season. They looked really strong out the gates, but recently it seems like teams have kind of been able to pick them apart. Gamsu isn't looking as strong at the top lane as he had at the beginning of the split or even last year. Denvi looks like he's getting run around it sometimes in the jungle. Damien, I will say, he's been looking fairly consistent, but they need more than consistent if they want to make up for some of those losses.
And more than 2 champs.
Also,
I've been impressed with Jimmy's Ari and Twisted Fate, and outside of that, you know, it feels like 100 Thieves, they've been playing a lot of strange picks as well. Like they did the Rek'Sai yesterday. That was another just kind of like off one.
We're seeing more Rek'Sai, like more people
Jimmy's
are playing
Corky's 4-0.
Okay, all right.
Give
Well,
him
maybe
that
I've been
too.
missing those games then. Thank you, Cubby, for correcting me there. But of course, that is 100 Thieves. They're going to be opposite the Rift of Dignitas Academy. These two teams, 6th and 7th right now. Dignitas is 1 game ahead of 100 Thieves. So as long as they get a win, if Dignitas can win a game here, they're in. They got their top 6. Yep. It's a much easier road from them. They don't have to feel as pressured as 100 Thieves going into this one.
And I know from talking with XU, you know, I kind of asked him going into this match, like, what does top 6 mean to you? What does it mean to the squad? And he said, you know, I'm not really super proud of it, but something it does do, it shuts up a lot of the haters. I keep in mind, Dignitas, this was the last Academy roster to form, the last one to be announced. I think community sentiment, everyone had this squad 9th or 10th, bottom of the standings. Top 6, I mean, that is an achievement. That is an overperformance according to what the community thought this team would be coming in. I want to credit, you know, XU a lot with that, but also I think Eclipse, people thought that, you know, Eclipse, he struggled a little bit in amateur last year. I think he's really stepped up. I think that Spawn, especially lately, has really stepped up and into his own in the bot lane. And this is a team that, you know, even they are, you know, in 6th place or bottom 5 of our standings, they're still exceeding expectations.
XU's been the engine, Magical. Consistently, we've mentioned his name pretty much every time we talk about Dignitas just because of how impactful he is for this roster.
Also, a lot of Baron steals, a lot of objective steals that we've seen from him. This guy has... well, okay, some people can. We've seen Hyper do that, but for the most part, you can't. And that's, I just want to bring up the Twitter banner because it was mentioned before.
It was fantastic,
but looking at XU and the growth he's had as a player going into this season has been really big. He's this rookie player. He played on Cloud9 Amateur last year, and now we're seeing that he's really starting to come into his own. And the rest of Dignitas are a fairly young roster. You got Mama Bear in bot lane in JJ, but the rest of these players haven't had nearly the experience that he has. So looking at the growth of XU has been big.
XU has been popping off this split. He's been growing incredibly. He's up against one of the more experienced junglers from the Academy perspective. Kenvi has had a very, you know, I guess forward-facing journey so far, Cubby. That's an odd way to put it, but we've talked about him a lot throughout the last 2 years because of just how vocal 100 Thieves have been about the potential of this player.
I really believe in Kenvi. I think that this guy is one of the best prospects that we have in the Academy space. It's just that Kenvi, you know, this split, I think we've seen him have some really nice games on his champs, but we haven't seen him expand outside of his pool, like really broaden his horizons. And I think we started to see that of late. He's picking up more of the Hecarim. This is something that he played to success last game, but it is something where Kenvi, I mean, he played around Ryoma and Luger with the 100 Thieves Academy squad last year. These were 2 Academy standouts. Ryoma still going off in Academy. Luger, someone that did deservedly so make LCS with Poom based off their performance from Academy last split. I think Kenvi, you know, with this new squad, just hasn't really been able to come together, hasn't been able to figure it out. And I really want to see if 100 Thieves can figure it out because I really believe in some of the talented prospects they have. We just haven't really seen them come together as a team.
2 wins to get to top 6. That's all 100 Thieves have to do. Easy peasy. Dignitas just need to pick up 1. That's the stakes going into the final best of 2 of the spring split Academy season. With that said, I'm hearing we're ready. So here we go. Magical Cubby, take it away.
Thank you so much, Steve. We'll see you after this game to get into our halftime show. But it is our last series of the spring split, Cubby. We are close to the end, and there's so much excitement in this series. There was a potential that this series could have been a best of 3 had we seen a 2-0, I believe, from the side of 100 Thieves yesterday, but they didn't get that. Instead, now we have it where this one game for Dignitas could be the end of 100 Thieves' hopes to get into the top 6. All right. Oh, there we go. I lost you for a second, so I wasn't sure what happened. I don't know if it was me getting disconnected or you get disconnected, but we're back. We're here, and we're looking at the series, and we already are pretty deep into the... Okay, so Cubby is the 1D seed. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring him back in a bit, but you're just going to have to deal with me for now. I'm looking over these. I see an Aphelios ban, I see a Caitlyn ban, but I don't see a Jinx ban. So I'm expecting that, or the Zeri. Duh, of course, the Zeri's left open. But why not pick that instead? Grab them for themselves. Okay, we're on Rage Solely for now. I'll kind of hold off any spoilers. Obviously, the ones I will spoil is going to be the Jinx pickup for the side of Dignitas because it's the answer Zeri Jinx. Makes sense. What do I do to entertain you guys? What do I do? What do I do?
I don't think you're
let's
gonna have to wait that long, Bad Match.
I'm gonna bring. Are you back yet? You look pixelated to me. I don't think he's back yet. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna run through. You know what? We're gonna have a frozen face on Cubby. Oh, no, never mind. We're going back to me solo. So I'm not gonna spoil anymore. You kind of saw there was a hover of Katarina. It's an expected one. That tends to happen between Dignitas and 100 Thieves, just as a little joke. But I'm not gonna spoil any of the champion select stuff for now. I'm gonna write it down though. So you're gonna see me writing down for a bit, and you're just gonna have to deal with me talking nonstop until we can get Cubby back. So hopefully we'll be able to get him. But right now, there's so much in this game. Okay, Cubby.
No, so we should be good. Sorry about that. You know, the joys of remote broadcasting. I would never leave Mad Magical on such an exciting matchup that we have to end our split. And I think now we're going to be diving back in. It's time for us to fully update where we are at in the champ select, as it is going to be bot lanes for each squad. And looks like a match of junglers.
Yep.
And my eyes immediately go towards the side of Dignitas. When you have this Volibear, when you have this Nautilus, it's all about that early playmaking. We're going to have to see if they can make that work against 100 Thieves.
Especially into a Zeri. You got Wixie on to Zeri, a great late-game champion who can skate around the battlefield and dish out tons in response. So if they can put down Zeri immediately, they can make sure that Spawn is the one actually fed. There's a lot that Dignitas can play around, but the fact that we're now into the second part of our draft. We're seeing a little bit of the lane focus from both sides. I'm expecting to be mid lane bans on each side and maybe even a single top lane ban.
And I think immediately that the Blanc, I'm expecting a Syndra taken off the board. I think Dignitas are setting up for that Ahri pick mid for Dark Wings. We have seen that be very high priority for these teams and would really fit the identity that Dig has so far of this pick composition. Depth charge, plus a charm, plus Volibear. Anyone that gets hit by those abilities will be going down, especially in the early game.
That's why I expect 100 Thieves to ban it. I don't think it's going to get through the draft.
I agree.
We see the LeBlanc ban. We see a Zillion ban, interestingly enough, against 100 Thieves, but I'm expecting that Ahri to be the final one by 100 Thieves.
I think that's more Dignitas just paying respect to how annoying a Zillion mid could be with Zeri and Hecarim. Still expecting that Ahri locked in. And meanwhile, 100 Thieves, they could be setting up Gamsu for, I think his most comfortable blind so far this season has been the Gnar. That Camille takeaway, Trindamir's already off the board. I think it would be a decent game for Gamsu's Gnar if he didn't want to go for it. We'll see if they end up banning out another champion to set it up. That's going to be the Aurelia off the board now for Eclipse. Expecting an Ahri here. And honestly, we'll see what kind of answer Jimmy has. Could easily be a Syndra. And I'm really expecting Gnar to come out of 100 Thieves too.
Yep, I think it's going to be right here. We'll see that Ahri, and it's going to be Syndra and Gnar. And then the last pick for Eclipse. Let's think about that. What would Eclipse want to play Gnar? Probably Jace, I have to imagine.
Jace is an option. I think that Jace can be kind of tough to pilot into Zeri, just because it's really tough to actually poke Zeri out of fight with all the HP she gets in her build. But for Dignitas, I think there's a full commit into the early game, Mad Magical. You have Nautilus, you have Volibear, you have Ahri, so much playmaking potential. And I think that on the side of 100 Thieves, I was setting up for the Gnar, but they see this. That's just a big stat check in the Scion, someone that's really tough to pick off in the top lane. And now 100 Thieves, they're really emerging with this big team fight composition on the blue side. We'll see if Dignitas actually take a side laner here to try and break this.
Yeah, I think they have to, especially because
Fiora.
Fiora would be really good for Eclipse into this one. Looking at what else is open and left that could really style on something like
Set.
a Scion.
Yeah, Aatrox Set.
Aatrox is another one. That is a good one too. Looking at those, it's going to be the Aatrox for Eclipse.
Okay, so Dig is still somewhat leaving that option open to match in the team fight. I think the thing I really like about Aatrox is that it does really well in the Scion matchup, but unlike the Fiora, you're not just hard committing to that 1-3-1, that 1-4, that side lane. You can team fight really well with Aatrox, and with Hecarim Scion jumping into you, this is something that Eclipse can heal up over time, can turn the tables on the 100 Thieves, whereas 100 Thieves, if they get to the later stages of the game, their team comp slaps. It's just, can they get there? Because Dignitas are going to be throwing the kitchen sink at them in this early game.
And for Dignitas, all they have to do is win this game to make sure they are top 6. There's so much more on the line for 100 Thieves in
They
this
need both.
entire series. They have to get both to guarantee they get that 6th and final spot in the top 6.
And for me with 100 Thieves, I know that I think one of the big surprises and one of the bright spots for 100 Thieves has been their bot lane. 2 rookies in Academy, Wixie and Busio. It's both their first splits. It's felt at times that they've been carrying the rest of this roster, this far more experienced topside that they have. On the Zeri, on the Rakan, I want to see if they can set up early because they're going to be under what I expect to be a ton of pressure from Dignitas. I expect XU to be pathing that Volibear top to bot. Darkwing should be able to follow too. Wixie and Busio will be pressured in this laning phase, but if they are able to step up, if they are able to not be set too far behind early, this Zeri, this Rakan can go off in the later stages, and I want to see if 100 Thieves can play around everything that Dignitas will be throwing at them early.
Well, that is the plan. That is the scenario we have set up for 100 Thieves and for Dignitas. Early game versus scaling and good team fights out of 100 Thieves. I'm excited for this one. I mean, with the pressure on, I've casted many Academy splits over the years now, and never have I actually gone into the final series of the season where so much is on the line between 2 squads vying and fighting over that last spot to grab top 6.
And here we are. Everything comes down to this. 100 Thieves, they need that 2-0. Dignitas just need to take one of these games to solidify themselves in that top 6. Of course, top 6. That does mean that you are in the double elimination part of the bracket. If you are bottom 4 in Academy, you're playing a best of 3 against the 7 through 10 seeds of Amateur. And that is a do or die matchup. Anything can happen in the do or die best of 3. Not the position our Academy teams want to be in. They'd much rather be slotted right into that double elimination stage. So a lot is on the line for this best of 2.
And right now, neither team is willing to risk it, even with an early invade by the side of Eclipse next year to put a ward on that Wolves camp. Not really going to net too much except for an idea of where Kenvi is. Kenvi has pathed completely around it to make sure that there's a lack of information on the side of Dignitas.
And now, on the page of 100 Thieves Dig, we're going to see Eclipse kind of sneaking in here late. They're going to spot out the start of the jungle for 100 Thieves. And honestly, I'm surprised that XU is not pathing top to bot. I would think that, dogpiling on this area early is their best path to victory. Not going to be the case, though, instead of Eclipse. He's really stepping up here early.
Playing very aggressive, but look at the damage he got onto Kenvi.
My.
It's going to make this really rough. Look, he's still fighting the smite to secure and get a little bit of help back for Kenvi, but Eclipse 1v2. He gets a solo kill, and he might get both with the help of Blue Buff working for the side of Dignitas, getting a lot of damage.
Goodness.
He can still fight this. He might even steal away the Blue Buff all the while. He's getting a lot of damage with the help of that blue, but no, Gomsu secures it and the kill.
Okay, so I think Gomsu was sticking around because he knew that he was going to be able to get kills on the back half with the zombie form of Sion, but oh my goodness, Eclipse, he just set Kenvi so far behind in this game, and we put so much emphasis on what Dig can do in the early game. It's just going to be XU's map to run now.
This is insane. Just seeing it, it's an absolute Chad move coming in from Eclipse.
I mean, this is one way to really throw a wrench to the game plan of what 100 Thieves wanted to do, as Eclipse just straight up 1v2s with that counter pick. I wasn't incorporating that with the Aatrox pick, but hey, Eclipse, he had it figured out. He had it calculated. And man, 100 Thieves, Kenvi's going to have a big trouble recovering from that. We're even seeing now on live, XU, he's looking to steal away the red.
Yeah,
he got it.
They've got so much a lead on Kenvi. Kenvi can't do anything. No blue buff, no red
He only
buff.
has one camp.
Exactly. This is one hell of a way to come out of the gate swinging if you're Dignitas.
He only has the Raptors, and now XU, he can stick around. He can flash on mid. He can go bot and dive. He's going to see the Raptors empty, and he will get spotted on his way out, but Kenvi, he's 2 camps away from hitting level 3 and even being relevant. XU still has his entire top side to clear, not to mention 2 crabs available to him.
This is how you slow down a power farmer like Pekrom. You just have an early invade 1v2 fight where an Aatrox wins out. Then you let XU invade afterwards because Kenvi's been set so far behind. We look at every lane at the moment for
Oh my
Dignitas.
god.
Every single one of them
Look
is
at
gaining
Eclipse.
priority.
He's just leashing for his jungler. And Kenvi, he can't even get the Gromp. He has to go all the way to the Krugs. I mean, his jungle, it is so messed up right now. He has camp spawning at... like the camp respawns too, they're all split. He's never going to have a full clear until Like 8 minutes into the game, and Dignitas, with all the priority they've drafted in these lanes, they can consistently back up and support XU on these invades, just like we saw Eclipse do there.
This is also why we talked about Dignitas. We look at XU, even if a lot of that was off the back of Eclipse, gaining that advantage for his jungler, it now puts XU in a great spot. Kenvi is forced to look for these early ganks because he doesn't have really much else he can do.
And he's going to try and go for this crab, but XU's here. If Kenvi gets flashed on, he is donezo.
Oh, there it is. It's going to be Smite secure. I'm waiting for that from XU, but he's just fighting Kenvi instead. Getting a lot of damage on top of him. The ball gives him a shield, gives him an escape.
Now, Kenvi's forced out. XU, he's going to stick around. This will be a Raptor stake. There's no way that Kenvi gets this camp. And this is kind of what I was teasing with all of his camps being desynced. It just allows XU to go in, invade, pick him off one by one, find the Hecarim. Every time the jungler of 100 Thieves is spotted, it means that Dignitas' winning lanes can play up, can win harder, just like we're seeing them do right now.
And what a glow up for Eclipse here in top lane. This is a player we've seen highs on Gwen. We've also seen lows in previous series where sometimes he doesn't play to the abilities we know he's capable of. But this game, he sure as hell is playing to those heights.
I mean, he was just massive. Like, he started the entire snowball that Dignitas had available to them with that invade on the blue buff of Kenvi. And Kenvi, he only has killed 4 camps so far. Wow. He has no other camps available on his side of the map. None of them are even spawning soon. I mean, it's just XU's map to run. He's looking for the enemy Raptors. He can't even find those. XU hasn't even taken his own red buff yet. So he just gets to go take that for free. Now, we do have Kenvi. He is still level 3. It's a level 5 Eclipse. It's going to be risky for him to go for a gank, but this is about all he can do on the map. So he might actually look for a play on the top side as we see Kenvi wrapping around.
It's the only play they got. It's what they have to do. We go to the top lane, and we see that Eclipse is far out. So if you're going to have a play work out, this is the one to work for Kenvi picking up a kill.
That is really, really good for 100 Thieves. Like, they needed to find something. Kenvi will stick around, will group push, but as long as that Hecarim is spotted, XU can get in the face of the pony, and Hecarim's going to stay on that top side, so XU, again, invades the Hecarim, takes even more camps away.
Now I need to see XU translate these leads into
he's going to find Kenvi here. Kenvi thinks they can get this for free. He can't. XU already has it.
And Kenvi is galloping towards them. Sees Grump is gone. Looks for XU now. Notices the bear walking out of his jungle all the while. Bot lane getting an advantage for both Spawn and JJ. Lucio will barely survive, but it's still a very low recon.
This is all fine and dandy for Dig. I know that you're talking about, snowballing this lead. I think that kill going over to the Scion was really important. But, I mean, XU, he has all of his camps up. He can just clear top to bot and set up for this dragon at any time. The map is his. And I'm curious to see what Dignitas does, because I think if I'm Dig, I want both the early heralds and the dragons. You need to snowball this game out of control. You need to make things so uncomebackable for 100 Thieves. And with all the jungle prio that XU does have, with the lead he has, it's still even on the scoreboard. And yeah, he's funneled himself, but you're the Volibear. You need to start to find ways to get involved and get your laners ahead. He has all the space putting Kenvi behind to do so. And I'm just curious to see where he makes his first move. I'm hoping it's around the Rift Herald. I think that's the most important objective here for Dignitas.
Right now, he's clearing out the last remnants of this bot side path for his jungle. Mid lane, Shockwave from Jimian, clearing out the minion waves. Probably wants to reset, knowing that Rift Herald is going to spawn in just a couple minutes.
I do like that from Jimian. It will give him a really good reset if he does want to take it.
Oh, he's not taking it. I thought he would.
I mean, Darklings has to, so he was able to get a small advantage there. And if he's able to reset off this next wave, he'll get back for free, which will be very helpful. As Kenvi, he is able to hit level 6, 8 minutes in. That's actually not terrible, especially given how tough this early game was for Kenvi. But you can see now, XU spawning Kenvi on the top side. Once again, you get to take this dragon for free. Busio, not able to find the Q. Will be first drag to Dig.
Dignitas getting themselves a Cloud Dragon, more mobility towards XU to move around this map. I'm expecting them to move up to the top lane where that Rift Herald is. Especially since Eclipse is, despite being 1 and 2, pretty big into this matchup against Gamsu.
And you can see 100 Thieves, they're pulling everything they can to make sure that Kenvi is able to get this red buff. He's going to need it if he even wants to think about contesting that Rift Herald. As Kenvi will be able to take this one for himself. Actually, though, still hanging around. He might be looking for the late invade. See if he finds Kenvi. Kenvi doesn't have Smite.
Oh, he has Ghost, though, to get away. better to just see that it resets fully. He doesn't have to worry about it being taken yet.
So Darkwings is here. He has first move. This is what we were looking for. How can XU translate this lead? He's going for it.
Chompers used. The ult comes out of Zeri. The flash too. They've got a lot of damage on the back line. Zeri's cutting out the best she can, but finally falls to Darkwings. Next will fall Busio. Double kill for Darkwings.
A beautiful setup from Dig. They're not done. Spawn chipping out on Kenvi. He's got to fall next.
Kenvi's been put so far behind, and now they've got Darkwings off to the races.
And this is what we wanted to see from Dignitas. We wanted to see them attack the bot lane. Utilize the early power that you have between the Boulder Bear, the Nautilus, the Ahri, and Dignitas. Exactly what we were teasing for their game plan. They find the window and they execute.
And getting all those kills on the Darkwings too, we take a look at this replay. It was a nice setup initially with those Chompers.
Yeah, Wixie already taken low early. You can see the early flash commits too coming out of Darkwings and actually to make sure the carry was taken down. And they know Kenvi, he has no resources available to him given how this early game has gone. So he's going to fall next. Easy peasy for Dignitas. This is what I like to see, teams drafting a composition and playing towards those win cons. Dignitas attacking bot, getting that Zeri behind, getting Jinx ahead. This is exactly what they need. Now let's see if they can blow up the game from here.
That's what we wanted, right? That's what we expected from Dignitas going into this game with this draft into the late game scaling composition of 100 Thieves. And they have done that every step of the way. We needed to see them translate that into side lanes, and they've done that. With these huge leads they now have over almost every member of 100 Thieves. The only one is a little bit of CS for Dimian in this mid lane, but having 3 kills certainly makes up for that.
And I like XU. I was talking about the importance of first Rift Herald, trying to break the map open. Snowball this cleanly for Dignitas. It's going to be the Rift Herald taken by the Volta Bear. And I think that you just go back and attack bot lane. Like, clear out the rest of your jungle, go back there, take first brick.
I agree. And with that eye, XU pathing back to clear out this top side of the map. So there is no advantage. There is no way for Kenvi to find these extra camps and get a little bit back into this game. He's still set so far behind XU that he had to go for those steel cap boots first instead of actually getting that turbo chem thing he desperately needs.
And I just love the game plan from Dig. I mean, one thing I've been so complimentary of Dig for is that when they come up with something, they do it together. And now we get to see Darkwing.
Speaking of that, they just burst down Gonsu.
Easy peasy, just drop the wave mid. Eclipse says, I have this set up, easy top. Now it's going to be plates going over to this Aatrox. And Eclipse, love to see the two solo laners working together. This is what is so good about, you know, when you have a jungler that can get up in the face of an opponent, when you have winning lanes, it enables windows like that. They spotted Kenvi, say, you know what? He's not top. We can go attack it. This is an easy play for us. Aatrox gets the chunk, and then they connect to the play. And now bot, JJ, that's big. Speaking
of an easy play, Busio does his damn this to keep Wixie alive, but Volibear is nearby. That's why they have to fully book it, and there is a Rift Herald in his inventory.
It's no kills, but it's still plates, gold, XP going to the wayside where Dignitas get the advantage on their big lethal tempo marksman and being funneled into Spawn. And if you guys didn't catch Dignitas' series yesterday, Spawn was massive against Immortals on the Aphelios, especially Game 2, was a big part of Dignitas' comeback victory. And now Spawn, he is being hard funneled by his team on the Jinx to take over this game again.
Didn't we talk about that in the Champion Select Cubby? We looked at Zeri versus Jinx. The way to stop Zeri getting out of control and being something you can't deal with is getting Jinx out of control that you can't deal with. And now she is set up in this perfect way where Spawn can easily carry.
And now we're just going to have to see where Dignitas moves Spawn. And he is so ahead of the power curve right now. Has that Noon Quiver completed. Looks like Spawn's going to be walking mid. Is this a good setup for Dig? Once again, at this point of the game, Aatrox always going to win that side lane matchup. Already wins it pretty hard at, currently in the game and should be able to maintain pressure mostly over the Orianna. So I really think that Dignitas, again, shifting their lane state, shifting their power, should be second dragon falling easily to them on time. And we'll see if they can try and pressure for more.
Right now, they're getting some minions to crash back towards Wixie and Busio, who are matching Spawn and JJ in mid lane. They have to rotate Gomsu into the bot lane, but sooner or later, we're going to see Eclipse match that, make it that much more difficult for 100 Thieves to bounce back, because you can see already onto the Dragon, Dignitas take it quickly.
And I mean, this is such a tough game for 100 Thieves. I just want to remind people again, it is one win for Dig. Top 6 is secured. And 100 Thieves need to win both games here to make sure that they sneak into the top 6, avoid that do-or-die best-of-3 against Amateur. And when you were in that position, plates are about to fall, you were down 2.5k gold. You really don't have a lot of playmaking until you get 2 items on your carries, and 100 Thieves are so far behind the curve, or going to have so little real estate to work with moving forward in the game. It's going to be really tough for them. I think it's got to come down to Wixie and Busio stepping up and 100 Thieves trying to work together to find this big wombo combo they have drafted for in the 5v5s.
At the moment, JJ is threatening to
thought
look
about
for
it.
Jimmy, and he was definitely thinking about it.
He thought about the flash.
But he didn't go for it. Instead, waiting it out. Now Kenby's nearby. There's going to be the flash away from Jimmy to survive. But Busio has a flank angle at this time. He can look for XU. Depth charge onto 1. He goes into the back lane but couldn't connect onto Darkwing. So instead, it's onto XU, but the blast cone will save his life.
And with all that time bought by the top side of Dignitas, look at mid. Eclipse, Spawn, got a wave in. A good hover by Gamsu to answer. So it still, Dignitas, they are able to get the early reset, get a couple resources away from 100 Thieves. But honestly, that's good defense coming out of 100 Thieves. That could have been a big play in the top side for Dignitas to knock down another outer. 100 Thieves are able to rotate, support Jimmy and under the turret, and get out okay.
They're down 3,000 gold at 15 minutes into the game. 100 Thieves, they just need to hold this line. They cannot fall any further and continue to let Dignitas run them around the map. Because like you said, this game has so many implications for 100 Thieves. Losing just 1 knocks them out of the top 6. Not only that, looking at how they're facing off against Dignitas, the team they are currently racing against, it's so important to make sure you're setting yourselves up for that late game comeback.
And 400 Thieves, I think that big decision time for them is going to come around this 3rd dragon. Do you contest it? Do you trade it for gold elsewhere? Because at that time, Dignitas are still going to be the stronger squad. They're still going to be the ones that possess the playmaking tools at this point of the game, just given the strength of Ahri, not only as a champion in the earlier stages of the game, but also Darkwings being 3-0-1. Spawn also ahead of the power curve, has already finished that Kraken Slayer. Now, I think, interestingly enough, Sion's actually gone for the Hullbreaker build, which makes him a lot more sturdy in the side lane against the Aatrox, but this isn't the big team fighting item that we're looking for from 100 Thieves, as that is what they have set up for in this draft.
They need to have Gamsu there, so right alongside Kenvi and Busio when they engage, especially because Jimmy with the Shockwave could make or break these team fights. Dignitas are very happy with the state of the game at the moment. They're making sure that 100 Thieves don't have those windows to come back. They're slowly encroaching on the territory of 100 Thieves right into their jungle, so they know every move in 100 Thieves take.
And 100 Thieves, at least for the moment, they are able to catch waves, able to absorb this golden XP that they desperately need. But you can see Dignitas, you know, at the expense of all that, while 100 Thieves are handshaking the waves, they're still the ones that have river control, have first move, and they're using this to continue to take down neutral objectives. This should be a free Rift Herald going over to Dig.
Don't see a fight back for 100 Thieves just yet. No saving graces for the team. They're at least holding steady in CS. They've been able to climb back Kenvi into this game with the Turbo Kent they completed. Even if you're slightly behind XP still, this is good moments for 100 Thieves. They're looking like they're getting some of their members back online.
The big issue for 100 Thieves is that Ori, Zeri, you can't really fight until you get 2-3 items. And what I do like from 100 Thieves, they're actually looking here for a pick. See how hard Busio goes.
That's going to be the flash in with the quickness and the shockwave
on
the Darkwings. But remember, he's got a Spirit Rush to escape, and there is no way they can chase down Darkwing.
And that's a lot of tools burned before this dragon. Now, I did say that it was a big decision for 100 Thieves whether to contest this 3rd dragon or not. At the moment, it looks like 100 Thieves, they realize how far behind they are. They don't want to take a fight yet. They're going to try and trade goal, scale for another 5 minutes, and then take a dragon fight where they pretty much are forced to against it.
They're just looking for scraps of gold across the map anywhere they possibly can. It will be traded top tier 1 for mid tier. Advantages to Dignitas still, especially because who is getting the gold? Spawn got solo turret gold in that mid lane, and then they can turn onto this dragon.
And I actually really like from Spawn going Phantom Dancer from the looks of things this game, just realizing how far ahead Dig are, saying I'm going to take the most defensive Zeal tool that I can use and try and use that to continue to snowball this game as 100 Thieves on the reset. We don't expect them to fight posture over this dragon at all. Another objective falls over to Dignitas.
Dignitas getting that dragon, throwing a lot of control onto 100 Thieves yet again. The 4,000 gold lead at 18, almost 19 minutes into the game. They're set up to look for a play, especially around the Baron that will be up in a couple minutes. In the meantime, though, like you talked about, we look over towards Spawn. Spawn has been a player that we have to continually keep our eyes on because how much he has been able to pop off as late.
Yeah, XU's the one that gets the engine running. Spawn's the one that makes sure the engine is, running over the rest of your team as the game continues. Because Spawn, in his second season, I think that Spawn has been someone that, we haven't talked about enough as a marksman that has been going off. And Spawn continues to put up these performances where we have to continue to talk about him more and more. He did it yesterday against Immortals as he helped Dignitas overcome that big goal deficit they had in Game 2. And Spawn's doing it, or could do it again today on the Jinx, as he has been gifted an early lead. And we'll see if Spawn can cash in on it. He is someone that has done this throughout the season. I think he's been really slept on as someone that's performing really well in Academy.
I agree. That's why I keep my eyes on him. I'm looking towards how he can play in the fight. And then on the other side is Wixie and Busio. These players might have been put behind in lane, but they are slowly creeping their way back in. And when Wixie builds that Titanic Hydra, that's the point when 100 Thieves might be able to fight back. Because they are still only within that 3,000, 4,000 deficit at 20 minutes of the game. They are holding the line the best they can.
And we'll have to see. I mean, this is where things are going to get pretty hard, or pretty scary, at least for 100 Thieves, because that is a Kraken Slayer Jinx with a completed Phantom Dancer that can melt through this Baron. And Dignitas have total control over the real estate in Top River. You see 100 Thieves trying to fight over this mid wave. XU, he's coming at an angle. I think Dignitas are thinking about this one.
He just popped the ult from Sion to show up in the fight.
Oh,
Kenby's taking a lot of the attention. They got onto the Jinx, but the Jinx is still alive. Here's the choo-choo train, splitting the fight just temporarily. With how much damage was done to Jimmy and by Darkwings, he can re-engage and take down Kenby first. There's no longer going to be that front line, and they can reset City on to Gamsu. They got to be careful though. Wixie, the rookie here for 100 Thieves. His Zeri's popping off. He's got a triple kill. They've got Spawn pinned underneath the tier 1. Quadra kill for Wixie.
And 100 Thieves at the brink of death. It's their rookie stepping up. We were just teasing Spawn how well he's been playing, but Wixie in his first split, 100 Thieves, they need the 2-0 to make top 6. Wixie steps up huge.
Just shy of the Titanic Hydra as well. He got the Tiamat completed. He popped off in the fight, and that carries 100 Thieves through to be even.
And I'll be honest, I was looking at Darkwings in the back half of this play. I didn't exactly see how Wixie got so big as we see him just consistently stacking up the passive. And no one, yeah, you're right, no one touched him. Wixie just autoing consistently. All the tools from Dig, the depth charge, the stuns, none of them connected on the Zeri and on the back half. That shockwave from Jimmy is what enabled Wixie to go huge, gets the quad, puts 100 Thieves back in this game.
What a play from 100 Thieves there. At the brink of defeat, they climb back in and now are just shy of 1,000 gold behind Dignitas. This is the late game team coming online. Titanic Hydra is built for Wixie.
We teased the 2-item spike. It was needed for 100 Thieves to try and take these fights. Well, that big play from Wixie, it got them there. 2 items now completed on the Orianna, on the Zeri. We have stopwatch for Jimmy and coming into this next fight. A lot of summoners, though, are down. I think importantly, Wixie still has his flash, but Spawn does not. So if 100 Thieves are able to attack the Jinx just like they did in that last fight, Spawn can't get out of that engage. I think that's exactly what 100 Thieves are looking for, as they, keep in mind, they have to fight over this dragon. This is Ocean Soul on the table in a minute 10 for Dignitas. We'll see if 100 Thieves can get another successful team fight and deny this.
Then looking at Dignitas, they have to kill Wixie. Whatever they do, they gotta take this Zeri out of the equation because we saw what happens when left untouched. Right now, it's getting a little dicey. There's a bit of an ARAM, but with Darkwings in the bot lane, not gonna go in just yet. He has TP available. They've started the fight on a JJ. They've picked off Spawn on the other side. And look at Wixie. They're now finally trying to focus him, but they can't touch him. They can't get near him. Spawn, he's gonna die to Kenby and Wixie. They couldn't kill him. They couldn't get on top of the rookie marksman. When finally they find him, they just don't have the damage to be able to take him down. And Wixie is unstoppable. This rookie, it's his first split of the year. This is his first split as a ADC in Academy, and he is popping off to look to get into the top 6.
A triple for Wixie. I know that he's the one going huge, but this fight, this engage, it was made by Busio, the other rookie component. He was the one that got on the back line for Dignitas. He was the one that helped find Spawn, and with Spawn out of the equation, Dignitas, they can't keep moving forward. They fall apart.
And you saw how much focus they attempted on Wixie. XU jumping and following Zeri wherever she went, but could not grasp on top of it.
Now, this actually might get dicey, because we have Dragon being taken by 100 Thieves. Keep in mind, they have to make sure they remove this one off map. Darkwings is here. He has ult. How frisky does he want to get?
I like this body block by Busio, denying that. It is secured by Zeri. They've got Kenby. Kenby might be the sacrifice, but with Wixie taken so low, they can chase, and that shut down for Eclipse.
That's big for Dig. They're going to look at the Baron. Eclipse, I think them, Dig, they should turn immediately. Keep the pressure on 400 Thieves. Don't let them reset. Start this objective up immediately.
And that is exactly what they're doing. They are peeling all these members. They are looking for the Baron to make sure they can deny that, going over to the hand of the late game scaling composition.
Now, Jimmian has TP. We'll see how hard 100 Thieves want to push this, as Eclipse is just stalling Gamsu, stalling Busio. And honestly, if I'm 100 Thieves, I think you have to drop it. I think so too. Especially because it's 14 seconds until Wixie spawns. But Kenby's on the other side. They've charged up the coward call. There's Gamsu inside the pit. Onslaught of Shadows. Smite secured! Kenby steals it away! And now the fight by Dignitas. They've got a double kill for Spawn. It should be more following as well. Triple kill for Spawn, but the Baron is 100 Thieves. And I think 100 Thieves, they'll take that. They're the scaling composition. It's okay if they drop members. They're going to have the Baron on their 2 carries moving forward. We'll see what Dignitas can get, though, on the back half. It's at least going to get mid-inner.
They're not going to get the soul. They're not going to get the Baron. This is a huge play from 100 Thieves. The fact that it's stolen away by Kenby sets it all up.
Oh, 75 HP at the brink of defeat, too. Keep in mind, 100 Thieves, they were staring down a 4K gold deficit. Dignitas had total control. If they lose this game, their chance at top 6 goes out the window. But when it matters most, the team that has yet to really come together this split, they are making the plays. They are making it happen on the back half. And 100 Thieves are stepping up to the occasion.
And yesterday, we saw Wixie be one of those players to step up big. Kenby and Jimmian as well in their second game victory over Golden Guardians Academy. But now, this is the Wixie show. He is 7-2.
He's huge.
3 items completed with the Baron on top of him and Jimmian as well.
And what this means for Dig is that if their engage is not clean and if they are not able to find the Zeri will run rampant on the back half of these team fights. So Dig really have to keep our eyes. Can JJ, can Darkwings, can XU sync up and make sure those CC tools are connecting on Zeri first?
For Dignitas, this is getting really dicey. They might have one more play left in them. They can make that happen, find the pick on a Wixie immediately. Might set them up for that Ocean Soul that spawns in 2.5 minutes. This is the time to shine for 100 Thieves. They have the advantage. They can start toppling these structures.
And you can see JJ just going wide with that dredge line. Dignitas, they don't want to give up any inners. Gamsu isn't grouped with the team, but does have TP if Dignitas want to pull the trigger, but they are spotted on this rotation. And 100 Thieves, they're actually sitting still. They're still sticking it. They're trying to pull Dignitas back. XU's at a very aggressive angle. We'll see how hard Dig push this.
Look at the CP from Gamsu. He can easily join this fight. XU's looking for the flank angle. He can't get there just yet. They're so worried about what might happen if 100 Thieves pull the trigger and turn.
And I like this moment from 100 Thieves. The fact that they're just keeping Dignitas around, it does enable this Hullbreaker Scion to get a wave in. He's going to take this turret on his own as well. And I just think that's a really intelligent play from 100 Thieves, just dragging Dignitas in, not taking any fights. They win cross map. Really like the patience from the scaling comp.
And Eclipse, who started off this game on fire with that 1v2, is now a level behind Gamsu. The tank with Hullbreaker Sunfire completed now is untouchable by Eclipse.
Yeah, this Scion's thick. I think that's really the best way to put it here for Gamsu. He's even trying to get this red buff out. Okay, we found it. There we go. Bonus gold for Gamsu. 100 Thieves going to get the full reset in before this Ocean Dragon. 105 on the clock until that objective. Keep in mind, if Dignitas get that, that is Ocean Soul for them. There's no heal cut available on the side of 100 Thieves besides the Bramble Vest from Gamsu. And we're going to have to see if 100 Thieves can set this up clean and if they can protect that Zeri. If Zeri goes down, things will fall apart for 100 Thieves. If Zeri stays alive, Wixie should be able to take control over the team fight.
And look where Eclipse is at the moment. They're setting up some wards to try to give him flank angles to TP behind Wixie. They have to throw everything, and the kitchen sink included, onto Wixie if they want a hope and a prayer of winning this game.
And I'm keeping my eyes on JJ. I think any dredge line, even a flash depth charge onto Wixie is worth it if you can piece it together. 100 Thieves, they're going early.
Look at Darkwings. He's looking for Wixie, but he's not able to get there just yet. It's going to be a little bit of damage coming in with the depth charge, and they're going to get the charge as well. They've got the damage onto Wixie. They've shut him down. He's gone, and the flashes from 100 Thieves. This is that play Dignitas needed to work. The one Hail Mary, the finishing blow, the 100 Thieves.
And it's the depth charge connecting onto Zeri. Wixie wasn't able to escape the charm. Dig, they're able to win out on the fight now, forcing Kenvi out. This will be the Ocean Soul for Dig if they want it. But Spawn, XU, they're just pushing for the game.
They're looking for the base. We are 30 minutes in. There's some long death timers on the side of 100 Thieves. 15 seconds until Busio will spawn, but let's take a look at the replay.
And this is all about Wixie. And look at JJ holding on to this depth charge. Once it connects on the Wixie, Dark Wings, when he lands, hits the charm. Eclipse is here to follow up. Beautiful teamwork from Dignitas. And we got to go back to live.
Yeah, we got to go.
They want the end.
They've got a Nexus turret along the way as well. So once we get out of this replay, we can see the final fight with 100 Thieves here. But Dignitas, they aren't actually going to push this. It's not the final fight. They instead are making the call for the soul.
I mean, we'll see how aggressively 100 Thieves plays the back half of this because they have TPs up. They could try and contest this soul. I think it's going to go over to Dig, but do 100 Thieves look? That's a TP coming out from Jimmy, and they want to at least try to get in here and contest.
You have to. I think this is what you need to do if you're 100 Thieves because this
gone.
is do or die. It is gone, but I think you need to go for the fight afterwards. They just can't get near them, and now Dignitas can reset.
And you can see Eclipse waiting patiently. Will not. Oh, actually, will get spotted.
Gets spotted, dashes over the wall,
okay,
but he's fine.
Huge plays for Dignitas. They sync up when it's needed most. That will give them a little bit more scaling to try and match the scaling of 100 Thieves throughout this game. And honestly, we'll see how much access to heal cut 100 Thieves gets and how quickly. Because I think that Ocean Soul, like when you're sitting at 2 Oceans, in the elongated team fight, it's going to help survive against the Zeri. But if Dignitas are not able to have a team engage onto the Zeri, I'm still worried about them in the long haul because I think Zeri outscales as the fight moves on.
That is why I said throw everything in the kitchen sink at Wixie to kill him first.
You have to do it.
You have to do that because if you don't, Zeri will pop up 4 items completed for Wixie at this point in the game. This Zeri is huge, and the only one I think that can stop him is JJ.
JJ is syncing up with Spawn. I think importantly for Spawn, LDR now completed, so Gamsu can be going to be looking a little bit less tanky for this Jinx. You can see how careful Spawn is positioning. Look at how far back Spawn's playing, given no flash. I think this is really smart from the marksman of Dignitas. Something we saw in our earlier games today was, Wild Turtle not respecting the fact that they could pile onto him when he is a Jinx without help. Spawn, same situation, no flash, you're a Jinx without help. Playing really, really far back and really respecting the power of 100 Thieves, even given the gold lead and the Ocean Soul Dignitas have.
Right now, Dignitas not looking to burger flip this Baron again. They're backing off at the moment, letting 100 Thieves have the inside track, but they are ready to fight back.
And I just want to say, I mean, I know it's an Ocean Soul for Dig, but with all the scaling of 100 Thieves, it feels like they are still the ones that are ahead. They are still the ones controlling the map at this point of the game, Mad Magical. And we'll see if Dignitas can find and engage clean enough to break it again, because Wixie is a problem.
Wixie is clearing out these waves efficiently, pushing back the super minions that would normally pour into the base. They look for the pick onto Dark Wings, but Dark Wings is difficult to get on top of him. He just goes over the wall, and now it's XU, flanked by Gamsu. He's going golden to survive. As you can see, the Dark Wings, he's looking for the charm. He's got damage, but they still have left Wixie alone. That's a depth charge. Look at the damage shockwave onto 1, waiting to see if he can take down Eclipse, but not just yet. Gamsu's going to be the target first. Zombie form, but Wixie now getting focused by Spawn, taking so much damage. There goes her take in front line.
And Spawn on the back half using the range on the Jinx. He was bought the space. He was able to connect a couple rockets, a couple crits onto Wixie. This puts 100 Thieves now on the back half. You can see Wixie has to base. They have to see the Baron. Dignitas, they win the fight. They take the objective.
The next play that 100 Thieves can hope and pray for is going to be Elder Dragon, but that is 3 minutes away. Dignitas have all the advantages now.
And what a wild, slow fight. And I know it's one where they attempted the engage on the Wixie. We're going to take a second look. I think the 100 Thieves, the fact that they're trying to find these fights first, I actually like from them. I think it's a proper setup for Dig with the depth charge. It's too hard to protect Wixie, but the time bought from XU and the damage the Darkwings gets in the back half. Look at Spawn. Spawn, keep in mind, he is flashless in this fight, and because 100 Thieves don't blow their cooldowns on him, he was able to go untouched. He out-damages Wixie in the long haul. Dignitas win the fight, are now sieging with Baron, going for that second inhibitor.
We haven't even been able to touch on the fact that we have a nearly full stack Magi's for Darkwings at this point in the game. That is why so much attention has been focused on him in these fights by 100 Thieves. They need to stop this Ahri from getting into the back line, but Ahri is now split away from the fight, and this is the engage. They've got a TP behind. They forced out the TP of one, but Bucio is getting the attention of Eclipse, trying to focus him out, but they couldn't get the damage just yet. Kenby is giving a little bit of space for Wixie to look for a bit more damage, but they couldn't find the fight just yet, but they do get one TP out.
Keep your eyes on Wixie. If he's able to stack up that passive, get enough move speed, I still think that he can run over a fight, whereas Eclipse gonna get a little bit of chip damage, a little bit of love taps onto him. But Dignitas, they're sticking around. They might look to re-engage.
Kenby, you gotta be careful. Here comes the rocket. That's gonna be this aerial pop, and there's Darkwings on the other side, but still not touching Wixie. Wixie's getting a lot of damage onto JJ. Let the Eclipse on top of him. That is a depth charge indeed. They've got a lot of damage, but Wixie still is going, getting some damage, but he has to flash away to stay alive, and now he's taking way too much from Spawn, and it's Eclipse who silences him in the fight.
The Ocean Soul, it out heals the Zeri. That's going to be the game for Dignitas. They're going to lock in the 6th seed.
They have the 6th seed in their eyes. They are ready to make top 6 and deny that from 100 Thieves. Do or die, and they do. They make sure they secure themselves that great position going into the Brewing Grounds, while 100 Thieves will fall just short and die at the steps of their own fountain.
Despite the heroics from Wixie, Dignitas, the one thing we praise them coming into the series, when they go for plays, they do it together. That is exactly what was needed from them to take down this Zeri in the fights. And the way that Dig played them out, played it slow, were able to play off the back of Darkwings and Spawn. It was too much for 100 Thieves, and huge props to Dignitas for coming back. It's tough staring down that Zeri in the later stages of the game. That was a back-and-forth game as we went late, but Dignitas, they were the ones that held strong.
And that locks in our standings. That is it.
No tiebreakers.
No tiebreaker, no final game for the side of 100 Thieves to hope to get back into the standings in top 6. We got a final replay of that last fight attempted by 100 Thieves. And Wixie, he was able to create so much distance for himself, but like you talked about, that Ocean Soul just came in clutch.
It was clutch, but also, I think the DPSing from Spawn as this fight went on. And all the engage tools from 100 Thieves, yeah, they're using them to try and buy space for Wixie, but none of them ever got onto the Jinx. And when a Jinx goes untouched, I don't care what kind of marksman you're staring down on the other side. The range, the damage this champ can pump out, it was the big difference in this fight, and what ended up toppling 100 Thieves in the end.
And it's unfortunate for 100 Thieves.
Look
They
at Spawn,
fought back so
untouched.
valiantly in this game. And it nearly looked like they were clawing their way back into it, too. That one fight in mid turned it around, and then this fight cemented it.
I mean, while Spawn was untouched on the backside, Eclipse, like with the Ocean Soul, with the healing from Aatrox, just straight up going in 1v3, doing so much work, too. And, I mean, I know for Dig, like, talking with XU, he said, top 6 doesn't mean a ton, but it is great because, this team, most people had them 9th, 10th in Academy power rankings preseason. A lot of people counted Dignitas out, and I think a top 6 for Dig, that's a big overachievement for them. I think that they've really stepped it up, have really performed well this split, and they have a couple members that are overperforming, and I think this team's something you got to look out for come Proving Grounds. I think a lot of the amateur teams are going to struggle when Dignitas make a play. They are on the same page. They do it together. It is do or die as a group of 5, and that pays off a lot for them.
It does, and that secures them to the top 6 as well. Makes this last game essentially irrelevant. The standings are locked.
Might have some fun.
But we might have some fun. We'll find out. First, we got to get through our halftime show with Kangas. Make sure you stay tuned for that.